Hello everyone. Today we are focusing on simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations. Okay. Simultaneous equations, you just need to solve for two different variables at the same time. And you cannot solve for two variables. You cannot solve for two variables if you have one equation. That's why you need two equations for you to solve for two variables, x and y. So in this case, we'll just pick the easiest equation between the two. I believe the first one is the easiest because it doesn't have a lot of things and it's linear. So in this case, just say from equation 1, you can just isolate x, and let me write in it with a different color. You can just say x is equal to 2y minus 3. This will become our equation 3. I just took 3 to the other side and isolated x. Alright, together. So moving forward, all I need to do is to just, substitute equation 3 in equation 2. It simply means whenever I see x, I must substitute this thing, 2y minus 3. So what I'll have is, I'll have 2y, and then we have an x, plus 7. Also have an x, which is squared, plus 4y squared. I said whenever I see x, I put 2y minus 3. So I'll say 2y minus 3. 2y minus 3. Are we together? Okay, now I have substituted. I only have one unknown variable, which is y, and I also have one equation now. So now I can solve for y, and then later solve for x. The same steps of solving equations, they still apply. I must remove brackets, surds, fractions if they are there. In this case, we have brackets. How can we remove them? This will multiply the 2. So 2y multiplied by 2y will get 4y squared. 2y multiplied by negative 3 is negative 6y plus 7. To remove this bracket, you must square the first term. You'll get 4y squared. And then square the last term. You'll get a positive 9. And then to find the middle term, you multiply the 2 and then multiply the product with the top, which is the exponent. So I'll have 2y times the negative 3 is negative 6y times the 2, which is here. I'll get a negative 12y. But I still have this guy, which I'll bring down here, which is 4y squared. All right, together. And then I will have 4y squared minus 6y plus 7 is equal to 4y plus 4y is 8y squared minus 12y plus 9. Now I can put everything to be on standard form. Standard form simply means everything on the left hand side, 0 on the right hand side. What I will do, just to avoid working too much, okay, I'll say 8y squared, and I have a minus 12, a plus 9, and then equal to 0. What I will do is to take these things to the other side. This 4y, when it jumps the equal sign, it will change the sign. It will change its sign. All right, together. Now it become negative 4y squared. The negative 6y, when it jumps the equal sign, it will change the sign. It will be plus 6y. The 7, when it jumps the equal sign, it will also change the sign. It will become negative 7. And now we will have what? 4y squared minus 6y plus 2 is equal to 0. Now everything is in standard form. The next step, I must make the value of a to be positive. My a is equal to a positive 4, so I'm okay with that. If possible, make it to 1. If I can't make it to 1, it's okay. It's okay as well. In this case, we cannot make a to be equal to 1 because we'll have fractions. And I don't like working with fractions. Are you together? But I can divide by 2 just to reduce the value of a bit. If I divide every term by 2, I'll have 2y squared minus 3y plus 1 is equal to 0. Are you together? Guys, please, if you're still struggling with factorizing, please go check the first lesson on my YouTube channel. I teach the basics, factorizing, how to find factors and stuff. Please go back and watch that video. It's very, very important, because factorizing, you will need it even when you do functions, calculating the point of intersections, even in trigonometry, whenever you do your general solutions. It's very, very important, guys. Please go watch that video. Okay, let's continue. I'll have 2y, y, 1, 1, minus and minus. Y is equal to 1 over 2, or y is equal to 1. Are you together? So now I've solved for y. The only thing I'm left with is to solve for x. So what I'll do is to say that, okay, when y is equal to a half, therefore x is equal to, remember I've created equation 3 and I made x to be the subject. I said x is 2y minus 3. X is what? 2y minus 3. So it simply means that whenever I see y, I'll just substitute my value. It's 1 over 2. So this simply means that x is equal to a negative 2. And then for the other y coordinate, I'll say when y is equal to a positive 1, therefore x is equal to 2y minus 3. Whenever I see x, I substitute whenever I see y rather, I substitute the y value. So this is 1. That means my y value will be negative 1. So whenever I write my final solution, I write it in point form. I know that my x value is 2 and its corresponding y value is half. And another point, I have negative 1 is my x and its corresponding y value is 1. So this is how you do simultaneous equation, guys. This is how you do it. Let me do a second one for you so that you'll get the hang of it. Actually, just pause the video for 5 minutes maximum and do F, this one. I'll do it as well. I'll write it here. It says x minus 3y is equal to 1. This is my first equation. My second equation is x squared minus 2xy plus 9 plus 9y squared is equal to 17. This is my second equation. Just pause the video and then do this thing on your own. Okay. Let's do it. Let's say rather. We must create equation 3. From equation 1, we can say that x is equal to 3y plus 1. This will be my equation 3. So this thing simply means that whenever I move forward, whenever I see x, I must put 3y plus 1. So I'll just say sub equation 3 in equation 2. Whenever I see x, I put 3y minus 1. whenever I see x, I put this 3y plus 1 rather. 3y plus 1. So now I only have one unknown variable, which is y. What I'm left with is to just solve for y. For me to solve for y, I must remove fractions. I must remove fractions if they are there, brackets if they are there, offsets if they are there. In this case, I have brackets, so I must just remove them. To remove this bracket, the first one, I just need to square the first term, and I'll get 9y squared. So when I square the last term, I'll get plus 1. To find the middle term, just multiply the 2 inside the bracket. I'll get 3y times the 2 at the top. It's 6y. And then here I'll get a negative 6y squared minus 2y plus 9y squared is equal to 17. Okay, I have 9 plus 9y squared plus 9y squared is 18y squared minus 6y squared. I'll get 12y squared. 6y minus 2y is a positive 4y, and then I'll have a 1 is equal to 17. Okay, now I just need to put everything to be in standard form. I have 12y squared plus 4y plus 1 minus 17. When the 17 jumps the equal sign, it changes its sign. 2y squared plus 4y minus 16 is 0. Then you can divide everything by 4. I'll have 3y squared plus y minus 4 is 0. Are we together? So in this case, whenever I factorize, I'll just say 3y, y, 4, and 1, and then plus and minus. Please go check that video, guys. The first lesson where I teach factorizing. Here I'll have y is equal to 4 over 3, or y is 1. So now I'll solve for y. I just need to find x. I'll just say when y is 4 over 3, therefore x is equal to, remember I formed equation 3 there at the top. I said x is 3y plus 1. So whenever I see y, I just need to substitute my value there, which is 4 over 3. And then my x value will be 5. And then here, when y is equal to 1, I know that x is equal to 3y plus 1. So x will be 3. Just need to substitute the y value, and then I'll get 4. So I know that my x value is 5 whenever y is 4 over 3. And my x value is 4 whenever y is 1. This is how you write your point. The second one from my tutorial, please pause again and do this one. Y is it y minus 2x is equal to 3. First equation. Second equation, x minus y, x plus 2y is equal to negative 18. Equation number 2. Please pause the video for 5 minutes and then do it on your own as I'm sipping my coffee. Okay. let's go. I hope you guys did well. Let me just use black. Just need to isolate one unknown. In this case, I'll just say y is equal to a positive 2x plus 3. This is equation 3. When this guy jumps the equal sign, it changes its sign, it becomes positive 2x. Right, together. And then all I need to do is to just substitute equation 3 in equation 2. What I will do is to open two brackets x, and then I'll put my y value there, and then x again, I'll put my y value there. The square brackets, guys, they don't mean much in maths than they do in chemistry. Please don't be worried. Okay. Whenever I see y, I must put 2x plus 3. 2x plus 3 together. So now I have substituted. So I will have x minus 2x minus 3, x plus 2 plus 4x rather, 4x plus 6 is equal to a negative 18. I'll have negative x minus 3, and then 5x is negative 18. All I need to do now is to remove brackets, because whenever I solve, I don't want to have brackets. A negative x multiplied by a positive 5x, it's a negative 5x squared, and a negative 6x, negative 15x, and negative 18 is equal to a negative 18. So 5x squared, a negative 5x squared, and a negative 21x, and then I must put everything to be in standard form. I'll have negative 5x squared minus 21x is equal to 0, because when this guy comes to the other side, it will change the sign. I'll have a negative 18 plus 18, which will give me 0. So whenever I have this, it's easy for me. Okay, for me to move on, I must make a to be positive. Nah? I can divide everything by negative 1. All together. And then I will have what? 5x squared plus 21 is equal to 0. Then plus 21x rather. Take out a common factor. 5x plus 21 is 0. X is 0, or x is negative 21 over 5. All together. So now I have found x. I just need to find y. Okay, so when x is 0, simply means y is equal to 2x plus 3. Remember I had equation 3, né? So y is equal to 2. Whenever I see x, I'll put a 0 there. Whenever I see x, I'll put a 0 there. 0. So y is equal to 3. Right, together. On the other side, when y is equal to, when x is equal to negative 21 over 5, therefore y is equal to 2. Y is equal to 2x plus 3, In this case, our x is negative 21 over 5 plus 3. Y is equal to negative 42 over 5 plus 3. Guys, you can just punch your calculator. I don't have it with me, so I'll do this calculation manually. Minus 42 plus 15. What is 15 minus 42? Okay, let me do it here. Negative 27 over 5. So I know that whenever my y value is equal to a negative 21 over 5, the corresponding x value is minus 27 over 5. So whenever I write my points, I'll say 0 and 3, and then I'll say negative 21 over 5, negative 27 over 5. Okay, another one. I have 4x minus 5 all squared, y minus 3 all squared is equal to 0. And together. In this case, I'm supposed to solve for both x and y. How can I do so? Okay, I'm adding two things and the answer is 0. This thing could mean only two things, né? It's either these things are the same but they have different signs. For example, if I add a 5 and a negative 5, I'll get 0. Are you together? But in this case, it's not like that. Both of these things are squared, so there's no way that I'll have this part being negative or this part being negative. Are you together? So it simply means I'm adding two zeros. For me to get 0, if I'm adding two things and none of them are negative, that means both of them are equal to 0. Are you together? So for me to solve for x and y in this situation, all I need to do is to say 4x minus 5 whole squared is 0, and I'm saying and because both of them are 0. I know it's a fact. Are you together? I'm saying and because both of them are 0. So I just need to solve for x on this on the first bracket. I must square both sides. I must put the square root both sides, and I'll have 4x minus 5 is 0. Then 4x is equal to 5. X is 5 over 4. In this case, I'll put the square root both sides as well. Don't need to show it. I'll have y minus 3 is equal to 0. Then y is equal to 3. This is what you're supposed to do. In this case, you're supposed to solve for both x and y. You're supposed to solve for both x and y. In this case, you do the same thing as well. Here you have two things multiplied and the answer is 0. If you listen to the first lesson of the first lesson video where I teach factorizing, there are steps of solving x there, and the last one says that if you have two things multiplied and your answer is 0, it's either your first thing is equal to 0 or your second one is equal to 0. Are you together? So here we just need to solve for x. I know that this thing is a difference of two squares. Let me just separate them. I'll have x and x, 2 and 2 minus and plus. X is 2 or y is a negative 2. In this case, I'm solving for y. The first thing I need to do here is to remove the brackets, the fractions rather. I must multiply everything by the LCD. Please note, whenever I deal with fractions, I must always write my restriction. Whatever y value I get, it must not be equal to 0. Because when y is 0, I will have 0 at the denominator. And that means this thing will be undefined. Because anything divided by 0 is undefined. So, okay, so after writing the restriction, I must move on. Multiply everything by LCD. Or LCD, the lowest common denominator is y. If I multiply everything by y, I'll have y squared minus 1 is equal to 0. It's a difference of 2 squares as well. Y and y, 1, 1, minus and plus. Then y is 1, or y is a negative 1. Guys, please stay tuned for more. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. The next lesson will be on nature of roots. Stay tuned.